Katie Simpson joins us from Washington. So Katie, what have we learned so far tonight?
These lawmakers, Andrew, are trying to make the American public have a very dramatic aha moment to make the case that democracy in this country faced grave danger. Former President Donald Trump and his allies were squarely responsible, they say, and that they knowingly spread a lie the election was stolen as a way to hold on to power. The committee says it has evidence, testimony, emails, text messages, and video to illustrate this was a well-coordinated effort. The Democratic chair of the committee, Benny Thompson, laid it all out in his opening statement.
January 6th was the culmination of an attempted coup. A brazen attempt, as one writer put it shortly after January 6th, to overthrow the government. The violence was no accident. It represented Trump's last stand, most desperate chance to halt the transfer of power.
Liz Cheney, the Republican ranking member on this committee, went into some of the specifics about their arguments in her opening statement, promising that for the first time, the public will learn more about what was happening inside the White House as the Capitol was under siege.
You will hear testimony that, quote, the president did not really want to put anything out, calling off the riot or asking his supporters to leave. You will hear that President Trump was yelling and, quote, really angry at advisors who told him he needed to be doing something more. And aware of the rioters' chance to hang Mike Pence, the president responded with this sentiment, quote, maybe our supporters have the right idea. Mike Pence, quote, deserves it.
Cheney says evidence will show Trump and his allies were repeatedly told that claims of election fraud were nonsense. That is key. It's something to keep an eye on because that is what separate criminal investigators outside of this committee are looking for. They're looking to find criminal intent.
Right. And so, Katie, they did show some dramatic video, but we also heard some dramatic testimony.
Yeah, we can show some of that video again. Never before seen footage. It's quite violent. It's quite shocking and jarring. But that's exactly the point of what this committee is trying to make. They want the American public to see exactly what happened on that day. Now, we heard from a documentary maker who was filming the Proud Boys extremist group, and he detailed how the group was energized and inspired by Trump, and how on January 6th, they actually skipped Trump's speech and instead went to the Capitol and walked around the building. Chairman Thompson suggested it was a way to look for security weaknesses, which would be helpful in the case of an attack. But we also heard from Caroline Edwards, a U.S. Capitol police officer who suffered significant head injuries. She went into breathtaking detail about what she witnessed as she tried to do her job.
It was something like I had seen out of the movies. I couldn't believe my eyes. There were officers on the ground, you know, they were bleeding, they were throwing up, they were, you know, they had, I mean, I saw friends with blood all over their faces. I was slipping in people's blood.
This was meant to jar the public, this first primetime hearing. When the committee reconvenes next week, the main focus will start with the big lie, the lie that Trump and his allies spread that the election was stolen. There is no evidence to prove it. The committee says that lie led to the violence on January 6th.
Katie Simpson in Washington, thank you.
Thanks.